Gotcha.
Hey, thanks. Let's see. Are we streaming on the? He says they're receiving our content. There we go. We got some live stream health going on. What's up, YouTube? Tubage. What's going on, Raider Nation? Thanks for joining us here in the fan cave. This is the pre-show.
Hey, the pre-show.
The pre-show. The show before the show.
Well, yeah.
Hit the button, stupid.
Well, that's well. There's DT the Sun. DT the Sun got in, and Super Deuce is in there. Tyrone Greg. There's Ron the Mater Raider. I guess now that Ron's in there, I guess we get to make it official at this point, right?
Well, yeah.
All right, let's make it official. Welcome to this episode of Raiders Fan Radio.
Oakland, LA, Oakland, Vegas, Raider Nation, wherever, forever. You got your old Uncle Mosh and Raiders Fan Radio from Murph's Fan Cave, taking a lighter journey into the dark side. Sit back, put your feet up, pop a top, and enjoy the ride. Here we go!
Look left, look right, Biletnikoff, a leaping pass, touchdown!
We miss you. We love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players, you have a great organization, and you tell them one thing, just win, baby.
Way up the middle, intercepted Filipiano at the 50, time running down, Oakland football, and I think Oakland victory.
The Raiders have scored on the most seamless, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play.
Well, I love this team. I think this team can win.
What is up, Raider Nation? Your buddy Murph back once again for what we hope to be a fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio, episode number 158 of Raiders Fan Radio, coming to you live from Murph's Fan Cave in the palatial Fan Cave studios here in my humble abode in the Middle Tennessee region of Middle Tennessee. How about that? Are you okay there, Mosh? So it's kind of like a fee-fi-fo-fum going on when Mosh comes marching in from the bathroom. There's like a whole, the cameras are shaking and stuff, you know. But anyway, so welcome to this episode of Raiders Fan Radio. I am your host. My name is Murph, and we do this little show here. Now have done it 158 times, and thankful to be here. And thank you to those of you that are joining us live. So those of you on the audio version of the podcast, thank you to you. And those of you joining us live on the YouTubes at youtube.com/Murph's Fan Cave. That's MURFS Fan Cave. Thank you to you. That includes folks like DT the Sun, Tyrone Graves, Super Deuce, Ron the Maid Raider, Fabricator Gil from IE, Matthew Mangus, Pirate 1975, Raider J, Hot Wheels 84, Ernie Cortez, Richard Gonzalez, Richie Cheddar.
I don't remember eating battery acid.
Raider Ramon is calling this the great moshquake of 2020.
I had issues.
Oh, yeah, you did. All right. So speaking of issues, welcome to Murph's Fan Cave, the man that adorns the southern annex of the western annex of the Murph's Fan Cave. That's the one and only Uncle Mosh.
That was close. That was close.
You doing okay, Mosh?
Yeah, no, I got all wrapped up.
And what?
And stuff. I was doing prep.
Oh, not like physically.
No. But so I went in there and I had to take care of some personal business, and I was in there and I was going, man, I thought I had one of Big Raider Trucker's burritos or something. Man, I had some issues.
Oh my
but
God.
I'm okay now.
You okay now?
Yeah.
Are you in top show form now?
I gotta tell you, I got an issue.
You didn't like eat a whole bunch of extra Cheetos.
No. But okay. after Swaggy J was telling, we'll get to him in a minute. But he was telling me about the Cheetos.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fire Cheetos.
Yeah, don't eat too many of
No,
those.
don't eat too many. It'll change to make things change colors.
Yeah.
No, that's not good.
It'll add an extra dynamic. So speaking of the extra dynamic, let's welcome to the western annex of the. No, dang it, I messed it up.
Hey, Raider Ramon goes, Uncle Mosh is feeling the southern annex right now.
So let's welcome the man that adorns the southern annex of the western annex of the Murph's Fan Cave deck, Swag Jeff.
Yeah, those flaming hot Cheetos, they'll make you want to go to the doctor.
Yeah, they'll make you think other things are going on.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, I got some breaking news.
Well,
I got some breaking news.
Swaggo.
There's been a celebrity stabbing.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. No, it's that pretty blonde girl, Reese.
Witherspoon?
No, it was with a knife.
With her knife.
No,
Yeah,
come on, baby.
Oh,
You got
my
it. That's
God.
like the Henway.
Exactly. I tried to get you last week, Murph, and I couldn't get you, but this week I got you.
Oh my God.
That was
Swagosaurus Rex
Yeah.
comes up with one.
Oh my
the
gosh.
dad joke of the
The
week.
dad joke. Very well done, gentlemen.
There you
Very
go.
nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, got you.
I want to talk about Reese Witherspoon.
Okay, hold on. Let me get your camera. Well, first off, let me say this. This is Raider Nation. You're used to us being here for like 2 hours every night. We say we always try for a 90-minute show and we go 2 hours. We really are going to be here for like an hour tonight. So like lock in for some fun Raider talk, but we're going to play tonight. We're going to be kind of all over the place. So
I'm butthurt.
yeah,
I'm butthurt. No. Not because of the flaming Cheetos
Okay,
either.
all right.
I'm butthurt. So what is butthurt?
Okay.
Butthurt is overly or unjustly offended or resentful. An excessive or unjustifiable feeling of personal offense or resentment.
So what are you butthurt about,
About
Mosh?
being left on red.
Ooh, who left you on red, Mosh?
Talking about, and let me tell you what being left on red is. What does left on red mean? It's an internet slang. A person is left on red when a recipient has read but not responded to a sender's message. The expression is often used to express feeling ignored. I'm feeling ignored.
Who ignored you?
Reese Witherspoon.
Did you tweet her?
I have tweeted her. I've called her. I've left her messages. She never responds to anything. You know why?
Why is that?
Because I got tea to spill.
Oh, what do you know?
You don't know spilling tea, do you?
I do know spilling
So
tea,
if
but
you're
please,
spilling
break
the
it down for
tea,
those of
you're
us that are
telling the
unaware.
truth about someone. What is gossip? It's exchanging information about someone who isn't present that may or may not be true, often personal in nature, often something you're not supposed to be repeating. I heard Reese Witherspoon is a Raider fan.
Oh, nice.
I have
No
reached
way.
out to Reese Witherspoon again and again and again, and she has not responded. She's left me on red.
She's ghosted you.
But she's ghosted
Well, you know
me.
what
No,
ghosted
actually,
you.
ghosting is you have to have made contact first, and I have a whole thing about that. Girls will friend zone you, but a guy will ghost a girl.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice,
yeah.
nice.
There you can't, and I don't care what gender you want to say you're with. Guys will ghost faster than a girl will friend zone.
You think so?
I know so. Especially now that it's okay to break up over social media.
So is Reese Witherspoon ghosting you?
No.
Or is she, what was the other one?
Friend
Friend zoning you.
Friend zoning.
Are you in the friend zone?
Nothing. I'm being left on red.
Okay. All right. Did you see
Reese.
also this week there was a picture of Margot Robbie in a Raider toque? Did you see that?
No.
Margot Robbie,
really?
who plays Harley Quinn, and of
Nice.
course, yeah, in the
Nice.
new Birds of Prey movie,
Sweet.
and famous for a million other things. Like what's the one with Leo DiCaprio? That was where she kind of broke big. The one where he's the stockbroker.
Oh, The Great Gatsby.
No, it's
No.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes, Wolf of Wall Street. Yes,
I
she's
never
in
saw
that.
it.
Oh, great movie.
I just finished The Great Gatsby.
There-
I finished it last night.
the movie?
The
the
book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
yeah,
you know I'm a
great.
crazy reader. So
Yeah.
I read what my kids are reading in
Yeah.
school.
Oh,
and
nice.
I just finished it. I hadn't read it in 35 years. It's
a good book.
Oh, it's amazing.
So good. So
It's
good.
so good.
All right, so let's jump into some. What, Jeff? You're looking at me funny.
Oh, nothing.
Let me get that. What?
No, I'm confused. I can't hear myself.
You can't hear yourself?
Uh-uh.
Well, can you hear yourself now?
Check. Hello?
Yeah, is that better?
That's a little better.
All right. Well, I'll just keep playing with your microphone here. All right.
Okay.
Easy.
Hey.
Keep that to yourself.
All right, so welcome to Raiders Fan Radio, episode number 158. Please do us a favor. If you want to hear more riveting Reese Witherspoon and Flaming Hot Chili,
Serious. If you know her, tell her to call.
Flaming Cheeto talk, you can subscribe to us at Murph's Fan Cave, anywhere you could find a podcast. That is MURFS Fan Cave. Hit the subscribe button and never miss an episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Or you can, as I mentioned earlier, check us out live, youtube.com/Murph's Fan Cave. We will always do this show for free, and any of the money that we make here on Raiders Fan Radio, we will always give it back. The only thing that we ask for your support in is just subscribe or rate us or like whatever, or actually, most importantly, tell your friends. We get new listeners all the time, and most of the time that I hear back from our new listeners, it's because someone's referred to them. Someone said, "Hey, these are, listen to this show, check it out. This is, to their brother or their buddy, their friend, their sister, like whatever." So definitely share us out, all of you, especially if you're in booster clubs and whatnot. I know there's a lot of Raider fan created content out there to consume, and so if you do like our show, please make that recommendation and let other people know about our show. And in fact, we're going to talk about a way that we did that. Jeff and I did today. But before we get to that, in the respect segment, let's refer back to our episode number, which tonight is number 158. And our social media director, Swag Jeff, always gives us something relevant within Raider Nation that relates back to that number.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So episode 158 of Raiders Fan Radio, we are going to go back to Masha's time. We're gonna
Come on.
We're gonna go back to 1971.
Oh,
1971.
Should I play your theme song from there?
Yeah.
Just to harken back to that era.
Well, yeah.
Give me a little bit. Give me a little bit.
You're listening to Uncle Mosh's Super Stories of the 70s from the Oakland Coliseum. Here's Uncle Mosh.
Yeah. Let me introduce my buddy, Swaggy J.
So this week on Masha's Stories from the 70s, we're gonna go to 1971 and talk about everyone's favorite number 88, Raymond Chester.
Oh, woo!
That we met at the Biletnikoff Crab Fest.
He loved you and I when we went up and talked to him.
He loved us. He loved us. He signed about 10 of those programs for me. Absolutely. So 1971 was a Pro Bowl season for Ray Chester. And he had 28 receptions for 442 yards and 7 touchdowns. And you guessed it, that comes to 15.8 yards per reception, 158. There you go.
Done.
Thank you, Ray Chester.
Nice job, Jeff.
Thank you.
Excellent job. Do you remember Raymond Chester? Of course
I do.
you do. Of course
I
you do.
I do.
He was kind of underrated, wasn't he?
Totally underrated.
Because
but
Casper kind of stepped in and took all the spotlight, right?
But Chester, he was a bad dude, man.
Yeah.
And he was so gracious the other night. What was that? A month ago?
Felt like it. It was like 5 though, I guess, huh?
It really was 5 months ago?
I think so. Wasn't it that long ago?
Yeah, it's 4 months. 4 months ago.
It was October?
Oh, it was November 1st.
What was the date right there? Yeah, November
1st. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
But he was so gracious.
Cool.
He
Super
was
nice
so
guy.
cool. They
Yeah.
all were, though. They all were.
Absolutely. Good stuff there, Swaggo.
Well, yeah.
Always love to shout out the Raiders of the 70s. Absolutely. My superheroes and Mosh's, your teams you were rooting for.
Yeah,
back
man.
then.
Yeah, man. All the time.
Absolutely. So pretty cool stuff there. All right. So here on Raiders Fan Radio, we don't do props. We don't do shout outs. Nothing wrong with those things, but we like to give respect. So we want to give respect to a couple, actually more than a couple topics here, but really an army of people. So I'm going to start off I'm going to highlight one guy from this, but it was really a multitude of people. I'm going to highlight Raider J, who I think Raider J is in our chat room tonight. Raider J on Twitter. So rolling back to last week's show, we told you the story about Will Compton, the linebacker number 51 for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Lives here in Middle Tennessee where we all live, and a linebacker for the Raiders, also played for the Titans and the Saints and a handful of other teams. And he does this big podcast called Bussin' with the Boys. He does it with left tackle of the Titans, Taylor Lewan. And those guys they're really funny, and there's a lot of synergy between like where we do our podcast and where they do their podcast. And we appealed to you, Raider Nation, the listeners of RFR, the sea of fans, to lobby on our behalf to get Will Compton on our show. to somehow help us make contact with them. Well, we did, you did this week, and sure enough, we heard back from Will. I don't know when we're going to have him on. I'm not going to bank on anything until the day that we actually book it and get to do it. I don't know if we'll do it in person out and about somewhere, or if he'll just call in or whatever. When that happens, I'll get really excited. But in the meantime, I want to celebrate you, Raider Nation, and the RFR listeners, because you guys rock. So there was, again, a bunch of people reached out. I'm going to miss somebody if I try to name them all. So just know, all of you, that your presence was felt on Twitter. People saw you. Will saw you.
Absolutely.
And Raider J77, Raider J's the one that with his tweet got the response. I've got it here. Let me read it out to you. So he writes, at Will Compton, when you going on Raiders Fan Radio with Murph, Uncle Mosh, and Swag Jeff and Mojo to talk about the best NFL franchise that ever existed, the Raiders. The nation requests your presence. So that's the tweet from Raider J. And then there you can see right below, Will Compton. What did he say, Swaggo?
Oh, I think that's the tweet of the week. He said, shit, I'll go on. Let me know.
There it is.
There you go.
There it is. So Will's going to hopefully come on the show. So, shout out to Will. No free shout outs. But we're for the boy, man.
Yeah, we're for the boys. Yeah, we have a don't give a mentality. And, we just want to chop it up about the pod life, you know?
That's it, man. Talk a little Raider football. I'm sure talk a little bit of that other team that plays down the road. But we want to talk about podcasting, man. I want to hear the genesis of that podcast, how him and Taylor got together, had the idea behind it. They had a killer one this week with Derrick Henry on Mosh.
Oh, right.
And it's making all the national scene because Derrick Henry revealed a lot about what he wants to do with his contract and all this stuff. So big talk about Tom Brady, big talk about Tannehill, like really cool stuff. And in a roundabout way, Raider Nation, it kind of relates back to us because Will's talking about the Raiders a lot on this show. So this isn't just like a Titans thing. Yes, it's very heavily influenced by the Titans because of Lawan and all that.
Sure.
But there's a lot of Raidery things going on that show too. So as Raider fans, check it out. Plus, they're just funny. They're just funny to listen to. They're hysterical. So check it out. Bussin' with the Boys. We're going to continue to promote them and until we get Will on, and then probably after the fact as well. So appreciate him reaching out to us, and we'll see where it goes and when it happens. I've had a lot of people ask me when is it going to be? When's that interview going to be? I don't know. We reached back out to Will again via email, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Yes.
I'll just say this. We've been in touch with other high-profile people over the years. Sure. And for whatever reason, scheduling conflicts, agents, whatever, those things sometimes can get in the way.
Right, Mark Davis, Tom Hanks. I mean, there's been a bunch. So there are things like that happen. So we're not. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. But in the meantime, we're just excited that the idea that he was open to it.
Absolutely,
and really excited about you, Raider Nation, going up and speaking up on our behalf. That's so cool. That was kick ass, man. You guys flooded the freaking.
And it happened within 24 hours too, right?
Yes. Yeah, it was,
it was Valentine's Day when we found out, when he tweeted us back.
48 hours. Within 48 hours, there were so many freaking mentions of it that he couldn't ignore it anymore and hit us up. So very, very cool. All right, what's next there, Swaggo?
The other respect.
Yeah, well, you know what? I have another respect I want to give. Before we go to the last one, I want to give much respect, and we give him respect all the time. And, he's kind of our brother now, but Mojo.
Yeah.
Mojo had your boy Swag Jeff on his show.
That was cool.
And we got to chop it up and have some brewskis and talk linebackers. And, man, it was so much fun.
How was that beer?
Oh,
because you were showing it at the end of our show last week.
It was the peanut butter milk stout from Tailgate Brewery. And we got into that beer, and it was creamy. It was good, man. Oh, it was so much fun.
Well, you guys did a great job, and I got to thankfully got to produce on that thing, and I tried to keep myself under wraps, Mosh, as I'm sitting over here, but I was cracking. They were so funny, man. And then I kind of inserted myself at one point.
Well,
you did. What'd you do? Tell me what you did.
I was playing a bunch of the Fat of the Week clips. This thing,
right.
Fat of the Week.
Says he's fat.
Who's fat?
I was doing that, and then I was doing I don't know how it came up about. Oh my gosh, I can't find it, but it was. Well, let me see. Let me try one more time. There was a. How did it come up, Jeff? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. We talked about a lot of stuff.
Yeah. The certain sound that was made. Okay, here we
Fart
go.
of the week.
Yeah, so here it is. So this is, oh my gosh, this shouldn't be playing. I think Max, listen.
Max.
Hi, boo. So I think she's probably watching it, and so this, whatever. This is really embarrassing, but it's funny. So there was, rolling back the clock to when me and Sonny used to do the Sports Dagos, which was a show that we did before that preceded Raider Fancast and preceded then this show, Raiders Fan Radio. We did this show called the Sports Dagos, and there was a clip on there, and I'm trying to carry me, Mosh, here while I find this darn thing.
So I used to just come in and do commercials, and you guys would have the stuff, and of course my job was just to come in and make fun of you, and when you guys had this one, I didn't have to do any work. Some of you might remember. We've had who's been with us this long that might remember the Sports Dagos.
Oh gosh, I don't know. That might precede everybody that's here. Okay, so I've got it here. So this is Sonny and I on the air, and I'm just gonna let it play out and just let it listen. Do you guys listen? So those of you that remember Cousin Sonny, it's him hosting the show, and then me. And Sonny's internet kept cutting out. Okay, and I was getting mad. Every time his internet would cut out, we would reconnect. So internet cuts out, then we would reconnect. So this is immediately after we reconnected one time.
We'd like to inform our listening audience. We need to.
Jeez.
Now
and then you put your mouth on that microphone.
To get the show going as soon as possible. That, ladies and gentlemen, was no sound effect. That was from Josh's trumpet himself. Josh, internet. Josh,
oh my God, you're killing the show.
I was having a somber moment. I was gonna say something for the internet that it died.
Summer my culo. Let's come on.
Chuck Down Raider goes, fiber is the key.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
You know it's off season when we resort to fart humor.
Oh my gosh.
It's terrible. It's terrible. That was a weak moment. That was probably a low point in the show. I don't think I've ever revisited that until. Anyway, that's what was going on in Mojo's pod show the other night. It was pretty dang funny.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry for. Okay. All right.
We have one more respect
Yes.
to give.
Let's shift gears a little bit. Sugar Shane says, throw away that mic sock.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Oh my gosh, I do. Matthew Menga says, Murph, you need the wipes. I need my anti-fog wipes. I know my glasses are fogged up like crazy. All right, so another bit of respect I want to give is that there's we're me and Masha from the Bay Area, from San Jose, California, and there is we're a fan of the Italian food around here. We're a fan of the Italian delicatessens in particular.
Oh.
The one that we're the biggest fan of is La Villa Delicatessen in Willow Glen.
Lincoln Avenue.
Lincoln Avenue in San Jose. Look at him sweating. Lincoln Avenue in San Jose. And but there's another one that now has an official tie back to us here in our little town that's outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And that is Domenico's Deli. Now, Domenico's is originally in Alameda, and they're huge Raider fans. Their entire family is Raider fans, and they've opened a new location in our little town. And so today, here's their menu, Domenico's Italian Deli. And today, me and Swaggo went in there to pick up our craft services that we had before the show.
Yes.
And we talked to these guys, and so we talked to the brother, Mike, and their last name is Murphy because their mom's the Italian. For those of you that don't know, my last name is Murphy, that's hence Murph. So they're Murphys and they're Italians, which is cool because that's just like me, right? And then we look over and on the wall, there's an MTSU jersey. So MTSU is this school right here, Middle Tennessee State University.
Yes.
All three of us are alumni of that school. All right. So we look up, there's an MTSU jersey. It's number 12, our favorite number, my favorite number because of Stabler and everything. And then it's got the last name Murphy on it. And
That's
I go,
crazy.
Like, what the heck? I go up and I look closer. There's a plaque on it. You know what the guy's first name is?
Swag.
Close. Jeff.
Nice.
Jeff Murphy. And so Swag
And it was a black jersey.
and it was a black MTSU blackout
That's
jersey. And we're like,
amazing.
well, it turns out Jeff came out here he's the all-time leading passer in Alameda High School football history.
Yes.
He went to school at MTSU, at our school down here, started in like 9 games in 2012 or something, Swag and I saw.
Yeah.
So he has this MTSU football career, fell in love with Murfreesboro, just like we did.
Yep.
Decided he wanted to stay.
Married a local girl, just like we did.
So he stays here, okay, and then goes on and opens up the family business and opens up now a new location of Domenico's Deli. The food is fantastic.
Oh, it's
They're
so good.
Huge Raider fans. We chopped it up with the brother about the Raiders and about Derek Carr and about all this stuff. So much respect to those folks. It was way cool. Like, I don't know, like, I'm pretty sure we're all going to be best friends. We have to
Oh,
be.
yeah.
We have to be.
And we put like 36 of our cards in the little jar.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
where they
yeah,
pick
yeah.
it out
Oh,
and get
nice.
the free lunch.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
I had the meatball sandwich, and it was on a hoagie roll, and it was amazing. It's these hand rolled meatballs. Everything's made fresh there. It had some nice cheese melted on the top of it, but the roll was so soft.
Oh,
It was just, the whole thing just melted in your mouth. It was amazing. And to top it off, seriously, I've eaten cannolis from the West Coast to the East Coast. This is up there. It's a number 3. It's in the top 3.
Ooh.
The best one I think I ever had was this little deli in New York City. I can't remember the name of it. We were walking by, and I go, "You guys keep walking. I'll catch up." You know, and 6 cannolis later, I had to take a cab to find them. But that's not the point. This cannoli was amazing. It was amazing.
Oh my gosh, it was great. So we had the cannoli. Jeff and I had like the Italian sub, the Italian combo. It had like provolone and mortadella and hot salami and Genoa, and like I'm telling you, this place is fantastic.
It was incredible.
So you ever find your way into Murfreesboro, Tennessee? They're right down there on the square, and we're definitely going to try to link up with those guys. And who knows, we might even have them here in the fan cave or get an interview or do a live pod
show
from
out
their place or whatever. Yeah, there's pictures of them in Raider gear like on the walls of this place. Like it's killer. So
yeah,
we love to see that kind of stuff. So much respect to those guys. Congratulations on the new business. And there we go.
Hey, what about Fabricator Gil?
What did he say?
He says, I went to La Villa in San Jose right before the last game. Damn! That was the best ever. Thanks for the recommendation.
Oh.
How crazy is that? La Villa needs to send us some Ravs for
I know,
that
and
one.
We dream about their Ravs.
I know, and you know what sucks is that they're Niner fans.
Yeah, I
They're
know.
all Niner fans.
And Sharks
But
fans.
you know what, though? Every time we go into La Villa, well, and it won't be anymore because the Raiders are gone, but every time we go to the Bay Area, we go to San Jose, like literally when we land in San Jose, we get in our rental car and drive to La Villa. Like
we don't even check in.
We don't even
No.
check in. We go straight to La Villa, and they always reckon, of course, and I think a couple of the guys
wearing Raider gear.
well recognize us from back in the day.
Sure.
too, 'cause we've been-
I
are
went to
literally-
school with the one guy.
Yeah, and our family's been going there for like, I don't know, 50 years or whatever.
Forever.
And so, but still, they acknowledge us. Hey, the Raider fans, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
always really cool. So they're always really nice to us. But yeah, they're all Raider fans at heart. I mean, Niner fans at heart. Okay. All right, enough of that. Let's get into the meat of the show. Let's talk some Raiders football. Swaggo, kick us off, though. Tell us how people can find Raiders Fan Radio.
Do you like foggy glasses? Do you like weight loss? Then you're going to love Murph. Do you like the hot breath of meatball subs and orange Mio? You will love some Uncle Mosh. Do you like hot Cheetos and making it rain at the Raider image? Then you're going to love Swag Jeff. Hey, if you like all or any of those, subscribe to Murph's Fan Cave, wherever you find your podcast. You'll get Raiders Fan Radio. You'll get Tales from the Nation. You'll get Mojo's Pod Show. Find us anywhere. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Raiders Fan Radio Podcast, Twitter and Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio. And if you want to contact us, you can call us at 909-345-3346. Again, that is 909-345-3346. Or you can email us at show@RaidersFanRadio.com. If you call us 3 times or email us for an undisclosed amount of times, you will get made. Join us on the chat at youtube.com/MurphFanCave, and that's really where it's at. And that's it. That's it. Thank you so much. We love you guys. Mosh, hit us with the draft, brother.
Here is latest draft.
There's a draft!
Watch out for drafts.
This is the NFL draft.
Look, I'm into a draft.
Let's go and pro in the draft.
You're going to the draft?
Draft looks solid.
They drafted me.
Apparently you were drafted.
I drafted you.
I got drafted.
Draft picks.
It's my third draft.
You only get drafted once.
Let's talk about the draft.
It's our draft.
You drafted me in the first round.
Excellent draft.
You dig that? We're going to Vegas, Mike.
Vegas! You think we get there by midnight?
Money, we're gonna be up 500 by midnight.
Ah, Vegas!
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
That's my favorite one when me and Swaggo. Yeah, we're gonna be up 500 by midnight. How many times have we said that, Swaggy?
Oh my God!
For those of you that don't know, Swaggy was one of my students, and we hit it off, man. And I used to talk to him about gambling all the time, and he'd be like, I want to go, and I'm like, Swaggy, you're 15. You gotta wait a minute. Swaggy J turns 21, and he's like, I want to go. And I'm like, all right. So we've been hauling ass. Oh, we've been going very fast down the road from Nashville to the Memphis area to hit the casinos down in Tunica, Mississippi ever since. And it's so funny, man, because we're always doing the same thing. All right, here's our strategy.
Yeah.
About 2 hours in, he's like, you got any money left?
Yeah.
Where's the ATM?
I think I may be the only ones to count my chips at the table. And I give Uncle Mosh updates about every 2 minutes.
Oh my God!
Oh, and he loves it when you do.
Hey
that.
man, I'm down $15. Hey man, I'm up 30.
No, it's more like, Uncle Mosh, give me $1 and then I'm even. Oh my goodness!
Hey, so in the chat there, I want to shout him out real quick. Fabricator Gil from the IE, Ron the Materator, Chucktown Raider, Mojo, what's up, Mojo? DT the Sun, Herman Munster, Raider Born, Rico, what's up, Rico? Matthew Menges, Raider Ramon is in there, Sugar Shane, Tyrone Graves. Who else am I missing? Appreciate everybody joining us. Is there 2 Raider Ramones? Anyways, appreciate everyone joining us in there. A couple things real fast. I believe it was Tyrone asked about Mondays with Mikey Murph. We hadn't mentioned that. Mikey just moved into a new place, and he's trying to figure out his setup and all that good stuff, and it's the off season now, so you'll probably won't see Mondays with Mikey and Murph until, I imagine, next season or something like that. So the show's purely on hiatus. It has nothing else to do with anything other than that, other than logistics of it just don't work for Mikey right now, but they will, and when they do, we'll get back to doing that show. Also in there, I love it, Ron says, death, taxes, and 38 dudes named Jeff.
Yeah.
like there's another Jeff now.
Absolutely.
To add to Jeff Nation, and that is Jeff Murphy, which is just absolutely too funny.
It's amazing.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the draft. The 2020 draft coming up quickly here this April in Las Vegas, Nevada. And so unfortunately, Swaggo and Uncle Mosh aren't going to be able to make the trip with just some work conflicts and other things coming up. So, but I'll be there. So for those of you that are going to attend the draft in Vegas, so we're not going to do, at least not this point, an official like RFR thing, but I know Mojo will be there, and Aaron the Q-Dog Raider and Big Raider Trucker and a lot of the good friends of Raiders Fan Radio will be there. So I'm sure at some point we will do some sort of a meetup, and knowing that it's me, I'll have recording equipment with me of some sort. So we will definitely do something, but we won't do like an official thing like what we did last year, where Mosh and I posted up with Aaron, and we kind of did a full thing with a live recording of the show and all that. We're not going to do anything that formal.
Well, don't say you're not, because you know if you run into Mojo and Aaron and Big Raider Trucker and you know a whole bunch of the guys, and they go, Murph, you got your camera?
Well, that's
so
true.
You know how you get.
I know. I like to put this stuff on.
Right?
I like to record it.
So right now, it's not planned.
Right now, it's not planned. That's true. So maybe I'll talk to the guys. We'll see if we can put something together. I'm not sure, but we don't have like last year. Like we had like a place and we had like a thing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know, so we'll see. We'll see as we go. But you're gonna definitely get content from the channel for sure for the draft. But it will be it won't be Mosh and Swaggo. It'll be yours truly and some of the made men that we run into out there. All right. So
Mojo just said, hey. Update. The big gringo will be with him and his recording gear they're going to do something for sure.
Oh, well, there
So
you go.
there you go.
So there you go. So maybe I'll just invite myself to sit in with some of Mojo stuff there.
There you go.
And we'll take that and, of course, include that here on the channel. So so stay tuned. We will definitely have some draft coverage. I call it coverage. You know, it's us just going down there and playing. We're not playing analysts. But we will definitely have some stuff coming to you from the draft this year. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the draft proper. So last week we talked about numbers 12 and 19. That's where the Raiders are selecting. And so we brought up wide receiver CeeDee Lamb last week because we thought he would be the most likely wide receiver in terms of top prospects that would be available at 12. But we put a caveat there because we said it's only going to be CeeDee Lamb because Jerry Jeudy is already going to be off the board. Well, this week, Mel Kiper came out with his mock draft, and I'm not a huge fan of mock drafts, but because it's kind of, I mean, you're throwing darts essentially. But I mean, the guy's well informed, so I mean, I'll at least trust him for what his opinion might be. Although I'm not going to please don't take these things as like locks. But I mean, it's a nice thing to provide a conversation at a minimum. So, anyways, he says Jerry Jeudy is going to be on the board for the Raiders at 12. I think that would be a nice place for us to take a number one wide receiver. Mayock has hinted that maybe the value isn't there to draft that position at that place, but I got to think, man, that with the need that the Raiders have on offense, that's at least a heavily considered pick for them. Swaggo, you did a little lookup on Jerry Jeudy. What'd you find out?
Yeah, well, you know, being a fan of the University of Tennessee, he burned my team for several years. But he was the 2018 Biletnikoff winner.
Yeah, sure
you know,
was.
he was. And last year he had 77 receptions for 1,163 yards and 10 touchdowns. That's killer.
That's awesome, man.
That's really good.
Yeah,
that's
and
really
considering
good.
all the weapons that they had on that team, like, you know what I mean? It's not like there's not other players to throw the ball to. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So,
but to go a little bit further on your point, the draft is pretty heavy with wide receiver this year. You know, do we go wide receiver at number 12? You know, does a guy like Simmons fall to number 12? You know, with all the quarterbacks going at the first part of the draft.
And we're talking about Simmons from Clemson.
From Clemson, yes.
Yeah, you're talking about linebacker out of Clemson because he's like hands down the best defensive player in the draft, right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So does he fall to 12? Do we trade our 2 picks to go up and get him? Is he worth that? Because right now I think most mock drafts have him going between 4 and 9. You know, we need a linebacker, obviously. You know, I mean, do you trade up and get a guy like that? I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah, it's interesting. So if say that they do go as Mel's got them laid out, so where they take the offensive player, you know, because a lot of people like what Jeff's saying, like take the best defensive player on the board at 12, regardless of who it is, and then draft your wide receiver at 19 because it's so much deeper. It's so much deeper at wideout. So go ahead and get him there. But Mel's saying that they're going to take Jerry Jeudy, which means that they're still, should he not be, though, then it goes back to last week's number 12 suggestion, which would be CeeDee Lamb. And then you get your defensive player at 19. Now, there's a lot of talk about who that defensive player could be. We talked about corner last week, but we also know that the Raiders have a glaring need at linebacker, probably the most glaring position. The challenge for, I call it analysis, in terms of the defensive position pulled at 19 is that the typical thought is that there's not as much value in first round linebackers that where you want to draft a linebacker later. But if you got it, you know, somebody with a, you know, extreme amount of talent and they're available at 19, you grab them. So who's there that's going to be available at linebacker at number 19?
Yeah. Kiper says that 19 we should go with Kenneth Murray, linebacker from Oklahoma. Who, he's a stud. He's a super stud. In 2018, he had 155 total tackles.
He was also named to the first team All Big 12.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a stud and a half. He's foregoing his senior year to enter the draft.
Oh, yes. Nice.
I mean, this kid is a beast. This kid is an absolute beast.
And in 2018, that season, 155 total tackles. That was second in the NCAA.
Yeah, that's crazy. The kid is, and he's fast.
Oh yeah,
you know, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know what his combine speeds are going to be and all that stuff. But he's got incredible lateral movement, and it seems like if he can go right and left as he's going north and south. The kid is amazing.
Oh,
yeah,
I like it, Mosh.
I can't remember what was. I think I was talking one of the bowl games I was watching, and he was just. I mean, he was unstoppable. The kid was phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
And in total in his career for Oklahoma, 325 total tackles, which is number 13 all-time Big 12.
And that's only 3 years, too.
And it's 3 years.
Wow, that's impressive, guys. Well, Mosh, you mentioned the Combine. Combine's coming up not this Thursday, but next Thursday. They start the position drills. I believe the players get in, a few days before that. And, of course, they do their, Wonderlick and their player interviews, and they do their, where they go up on the board and they're, diagramming plays and doing all the cerebral part of the game. And then they get into the player drill. So we'll be back on the air. We're off next week, and then we're going to be back on the week after that. So we'll be back on the Wednesday following the Combine. So we're going to have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Things about what Mosh, referred to there in terms of what these guys' numbers are coming out of the Combine. It's a little bit of, they call it basketball or not basketball. They call it football in your underwear. You know what I mean? That they're out there just, doing these drills, and how well do these drills relate to your actual playing ability? I mean, some things are indicators, some things are not. But I think it's a fun event nonetheless. What's really interesting about this and to me is it's almost like the unintended consequence of the Combine, and that is it's one of, if not the only event in the calendar of the NFL where the GMs, the coaches, and the owners are all in attendance. So you have your owners meetings where it's obviously the owners. And then you have your draft, but all the teams are typically in their own war rooms. So they're separate, right? No one's they're not, what's the word I'm looking for, Mosh? They're not talking to each other. They're not
incommunicado.
There you go. They're not incommunicado, right? So they're excommunicado, John Wick. So they're all there together, and a lot of deals get done around the Combine. There's a lot of backroom, or not even backroom, at the bar, out at dinner. They're all there. They're all talking. And don't you know it? A lot of deals get structured or at least conceptualized at the Combine. That's why you see these things get done so fast as soon as the trade deadline or as soon as the trade season begins or free agency starts or whatever. That's why you see these things go bang, 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 because they've already hashed out these things, a lot of it, at the Combine. Because they're all there together. They're all looking at each other. It's not even you know what I'm saying? So it's a really interesting time, and that's where all the Derek Carr stuff comes from, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But anyways, that's the Combine's a blast. I think the Combine season and the whole thing around it is definitely a lot of fun. All right, so moving from this year's draft back into last year's draft, our buddy Foster Moreau, tight end for the Raiders, part of the 2019 draft class, had an awesome clapback this week. The NFL Network put out their list, their ranking of the top draft rookie classes of 2019. And the Raiders were 7, Mosh. So the Raiders were behind the Niners, who were listed and ranked as number 1. That's Nick Bosa, Deebo Samuel, Jalen Hurd, a handful of guys. Then the Buccaneers, Devin White, Sean Murphy, Jamel Dean. The Jaguars at 3rd, Josh Allen, Jawan Taylor, Josh Oliver. Then you go down to the, let's see, who am I missing? There was somebody between them and the Redskins. The Giants, then the Redskins, then the Titans, which the Titans had a good draft. And then there's the Raiders at number 7.
What?
Now, yeah, so they were given an A- as an overall from NFL Network in terms of their overall success of the draft. So it's a nice score. To refresh your memory, it was Cleveland Farrell, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Abram, Trayvon Mullen, Max Crosby, Isaiah Johnson, Foster Moreau, Hunter Renfrow, and then Quentin Bell. Free agent rookie signings, A.J. Cole, Keelan Doss, Alec Ingold, and Andre James. So here the NFL Network lists them as number 7, and then Foster Moreau, as I mentioned a minute ago, hit them back with this on Twitter. And he said basically, slow down there, buckaroo. And he posts a picture, and this is money. It says, Oakland Raiders 2019 rookie class ranks. Rushing yards, 1st. Receptions, 1st. Scrimmage yards, 1st. Scrimmage touchdowns, 1st. Sacks, 1st. And a quote from Peter Schrager, It might be the greatest draft class we've seen in the last 10 years. You rock, Foster Moreau.
Well, yeah.
You go, dude. That is freaking awesome right there. That is so cool, man.
You know what? I see those stats. I see those stats from last year's draft, and we're talking about drafts. Are we going to trade up? Who are we going to get at 12? Who are we going to get at 19? All I know is that I'm excited for it.
Right?
I'm excited for it because Mayock, I mean, just knocked it out of the park. It was a freaking slam dunk draft last year, and I can only expect more of the same this year. It's going to be epic.
I'm with you, dude. You know, a lot of people have talked about, like, oh, the Raiders need to trade or they need to do this or need to. I'm like, and tell me what you think on this one, Mosh. I'm kind of the opinion that let's give him more bites at the apple. Like, I think, especially, and I'm not going to get into my draft efficiency that I tried to unpack last week, but like, you considering how many times he struck gold, especially in the later rounds, like, don't you want to give him more swings? Like, right? Like, that's how I feel, Jeff, because I'm with you that, like, Mayock is so trustworthy. So, Mosh, what do you think? Do we want to give more shots at, or would we rather have him move up to take some, dream position fill or something?
I'm of the I guess I just like the fact that we go outside the box every time we do anything. Yeah. I remember standing in the rain, in the pouring rain, consoling you and Q when we first heard the name
F to the E to the R to the R to the E to the L to the L. It ain't furl.
The first time we heard that, and you guys, I didn't know if it was the rain or y'all were sobbing.
Probably a little of both.
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And it didn't
I was sobbing because that ice cream truck blew a fuse and they weren't able to serve anything. Yeah.
But it didn't get any better as the rest of the picks were announced. And now look at us.
I know, man.
And we were the people that said, "Oh, you can't tell nothing about our draft class for 3 to 5 years." And now look at us. We're going, we had the best class out of anybody.
Oh, like, absolutely. Good call. And it's funny because, and I still hold to that. Like, you really can't judge a draft class, until you get 3 to 5 years down the road. But so knowing that, like, that's how much more emphasis should be put on how well this draft went.
Yeah,
exactly.
Think about pick number 27, who's only played 60 minutes of football, and we're talking about the guy putting a C on his chest in the next year.
Right.
The guy that's more Raider than any Raider on our roster.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Good call. Absolutely, man.
And Ron says, Mayock has been mocking for years, and possibly more valuable, he has watched the draft mistakes for years.
Yes.
So talk about a smart guy. You learn from your mistakes of your enemies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great call there. All right. So speaking of that draft class, of course, one of our favorites that came out of that, along with Jonathan Abram. Well, I mean, I guess they're kind of all of our favorites, but I think the two guys that jump out are Jonathan Abram and Max Crosby, right? Max. Those are the two guys that jump out. And so Max Crosby was on NFL Network this week, and he had a nice little interview with Andrew Siciliano. And so we've got that interview with Max.
Pretty darn good rookie year for Max Crosby. 4th-round pick last year of the Raiders, had 10 sacks, and he joins us now live from his new home in Vegas. He has already made the move, getting some time off here with his first real offseason. Max Crosby, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm glad you're getting some time off, although moving never really ends. I don't think it's the worst thing ever. How has the move been to Vegas? Are people stopping you walking down the street yet?
No, not really. I'm a little secluded, so it's good. It's beautiful out here. I'm excited. The city's going to be rocking pretty soon. So, I'm excited to get out and play in front of the fans.
Max, your house here has the echo of a house that does not yet have furniture.
You are correct.
He's a kid. Leave him alone.
That's what he says.
He doesn't.
I'm not blaming you. I did not have furniture when I was 22 years old either.
Shut up.
However, there are people that can help you with that. Let's talk about Vegas, though, dude. Is like everyone from Michigan to Texas to Oakland, like your boys already blowing up your phones saying road trip, we're coming in every weekend for games?
Everybody. Everyone's super excited. My family is super excited. They want to be here 24/7. So yeah, I've had a lot of text messages and calls saying, "Hey man, I'll be there. You just gotta let me know." So yeah, you gotta get away from the distractions a little bit from all that. But it's gonna be something else. I'm so excited for this whole experience.
Max, you guys, I'm sure, can deal with it. It's your home. I mean, you're going to get used to it. But what about the road team? So the Golden Knights, the hockey team, the first year they were there, they won 29 of 41 regular season home games. Like, teams came in there and lost. They went to the Stanley Cup Finals that year, obviously, almost won. Do you think you guys are going to see the same bounce? Like, road teams come in there and don't know how to deal with it?
That's funny you mentioned that, because that's what I've been hearing a lot. People are like, yeah, it's going to be an extra challenge for teams that come in on Friday nights and try to stay away from the strip. So, if they can't handle their business, then more power to us.
Vegas! Vegas, baby! Vegas!
Oh, my buddy Murph. He's not just consistent, he's a man of his word.
Thank you, Rich
Uncle
Eyes.
Mosh, you're the smartest man alive.
Oh. Good stuff there from Max Crosby. Yeah, it's a fun conversation that we had there, Mosh, earlier in the year about how opposing teams were going to do when they landed in Vegas, and we'll see if they prove to be a distraction or not. All right, so next up on the list here, one more segment before we get to the sea and or I call them puddle of fans tonight. Free agents, guys. Last week we talked about this huge list of free agents that are going to be available in terms of quarterback. And my idea last week was to, like, each week cover a different position. And, something came up this week, and I thought we got to stick with it. We got to stick with the quarterbacks. It's too out of a topic for us to ignore. And so I'm gonna bring it up, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it. So first and foremost, we had the list, right? Like, the talk now is that Drew Brees is already going to go back to New Orleans. I think the Titans want Ryan Tannehill back. Like, everybody's starting to the people are starting to find their homes. Well, also talk this week, Larry Fitzgerald Sr., that Larry Fitzgerald's dad, who was a reporter, apparently said that, and I don't know what his source is, that said that the Raiders are prepared to offer Tom Brady a 2-year, $60 million contract. The GOAT could be offered a contract to come play with the Raiders. Now, we know that Bill Belichick does not, he doesn't keep guys because of their track record. And it's important to remember that in terms of contracts, this goes for all players, contracts are investments, not rewards for past production.
Yes.
They are investments. You're investing in your quarterback to take you, or any other player, to take you to a certain level in terms of their play. You're not rewarding them from when the Derrick Henry gets the big contract from whoever he gets it from, it's not because he was the rushing leader last year. It's because they're making an investment on what he's going to do for them in the 2020 season. So are the Raiders prepared to make an investment in 42-year-old Tom Brady for a 2-year period? I think it's possible. I don't think this is that crazy, and here's why. And I want to hear from you guys on this too. Let me give you my thoughts real fast.
Oh, you will.
Okay. So, first off, $60 million sounds like a crap ton of money. But considering that guys like Dak Prescott are looking for like 35 plus to get the greatest quarterback of all time, granted he's 42, but it's not that expensive. He's not that much more expensive than what Derek Carr costs us right now. So in terms of dollar-wise, it makes sense. Raiders got like $50-some-odd million in cap room. Derek Carr has a very tradable contract. He doesn't count as for a lot of dead money against the team. And it's favorable for a team like Indianapolis or Tennessee or Dallas or whoever else that would want to absorb that contract. Miami, I don't know, whatever. You pick it. There's a bunch of teams that need quarterbacks. So everything is lining up for the very distinct possibility that this could happen. I'm going to play you one more thing because I think this all leads, it's all a package. Like, you can't just look at the Tom Brady thing in a vacuum. You can't just look at Derek Carr in a vacuum. You got to look at all this stuff combined, all right? So there's this report the Raiders have offered Tom this money, and then there's all these now rumors, again, heading into combine season, all these rumors about Derek not necessarily being shopped, but the Raiders considering offers for him. Now, the audio clip I'm getting ready to play for you is Michael Lombardi. Now, I've rallied against Michael in the past. He used to be a Raider employee. He got butthurt because thank you, Mosh, for butthurt earlier, the definition.
No worries.
He was butthurt by Al Davis because Al Davis essentially locked him out of the facility. So we know this guy's got a case of the ass for the Raiders. That said, I think this is worth considering. And I don't consider a lot what this guy has to say because there's a lot of hater that comes out of him. But I don't think this is a hater take. And you let me know in the chat. Who else we got in there? Jeff.
They're letting you know, all right.
All right. So, Chad, I want to hear what your thoughts are on this because I typically don't care for this guy, Michael Lombardi, and I typically don't agree with. But listen to this. I think there's a lot of reason to be considered here. All right, let's get to the clip.
And it seems like this story is gaining a little traction here in Las Vegas. And I don't know if that's just the regional bias or if there's some truth to it, but people are starting to feel like maybe there really is a chance that Tom Brady becomes a Raider. Now, as far as the sports books are concerned, the Patriots are still a pretty heavy favorite at minus 300 to stick with Brady, but the Raiders are a 4-1 choice, the second choice on the board. Do you think there's some reality to this thing possibly happening?
Well, let's work backwards here, right? So the reality here is we know this, no matter what they say, no matter how many times Mike Mayock, when he'll go to the combine and deny it, we know for a fact that they're not happy with Derek Carr. Now, the Derek Carr family will create a revolt on Twitter and complain about it and say it's not true. But the reality of it is we know that John Gruden thinks that Derek Carr doesn't extend plays, doesn't make a play after a play, throws the ball out of bounds when he has a chance to make a play, can't create things on his own. And he watches Patrick Mahomes. All of a sudden, the second play is more important than the first play, right? And so we know this. So that's the backdrop. We know John loves veteran quarterbacks. That's part B of this. C, we know the Raiders have a ton of cap room. They've got a really good offensive line. And they've got a team that could lure Brady to believing they could compete for his title if, in fact, they could fix the quarterback position. So it's the perfect storm. And then D is they could trade Carr for an asset because Carr's contract is very favorable for them to trade. So when you add those four things together, this is not the rumor that was the most ridiculous rumor of all time, which was Tom Brady going to replace Dak Prescott. That rumor was the most ridiculous rumor of all time. This one has real teeth to it. It's got validity to it because we know the silos on each one of these things, and it starts and ends with their unhappiness with Derek Carr.
All right, Mosh, let me set you up on this thing. I want to hear your thoughts, okay? This is not, again, look, I got my number 4 right here, man. Like, they're my Derek Carr Funko Pop sitting behind me for crying out loud. Thank you, Jeff. Like, we're Carr fans. He's our Raiders quarterback, so we'll be a fan of his until the day he goes somewhere else. I think the difference now, and this is what's to be considered, is that number one, Mayock will always look to upgrade every single position, and that includes quarterback. And number two, the value is there for them to trade. And the numbers make sense. It doesn't impede the Raiders' ability to continue to grow in other areas should they make a move. That's why they let Khalil Mack go. Because and now Chicago's feeling that. They can't make certain moves because they overcommitted to Khalil Mack. The Raiders did not overcommit to Derek Carr, and they're in a favorable position now. So if you can upgrade a quarterback or at a minimum get equal value at quarterback, add a draft pick, and draft whoever that replacement is going to be, the stars are kind of aligning. Now, look, I'm not predicting anything.
Oh, my God, you're not setting me up. You're furthering your argument, which you've been doing for 5.5 minutes.
So tell me what you think, Mosh.
So then give me a chance, hot dog. Let me tell you.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Mosh's fan cave.
Oh, no. Oh, well, I can go. It's not a problem. I can leave. Sorry. I thought I was a co-host.
I was trying to set you up.
You weren't setting me up. You were furthering your argument.
Well, I want to give you one solid side of the fence, and then you give me yours.
God, it's been 8 minutes of solid side of get rid of Carr.
Oh, my
gosh.
Let me
give you.
I'm not getting rid of. Who's getting rid of him?
Let me tell you why I think. And you're not factoring in the human equation.
Okay.
That's what you're missing 100% of. Tom Brady is not going to leave his position to go into the same market and go against Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I said his name. I didn't want to. He's not going to go to a group where the Raiders, where he can lose to Mahomes. It would make perfect sense for him to go to the Titans if he wants to do that. It would make perfect sense for him to go anywhere but the Raiders. He's not going to want to go. His ego is far too big for that. Plus, we're not going to spend $60 million for 2 years that might not even pan out to 2 years. It's not going to happen. Mark my words, it's not going to happen. What's happening is they're driving up the value of Brady, Mayock and Gruden, to get some other dumb butts to bid on him, to take him. Brady won't play anywhere that is not in New England. He's not going anywhere.
All right, so that's a very fair point because you're right. He's the GOAT. Patrick is the next GOAT, right? He's the newest, right? And so I'm with you on that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Remove the name Tom Brady, the contractual sense, the numbers of it all, since it does work favorably for the Raiders. Is it out of line to think that, okay, not Tom Brady, but someone else might be our quarterback this year?
Absolutely. I'm not talking about, but now you're comparing apples and oranges.
Well, no, but
we were talking about Brady.
Well, but the car portion of it facilitates the ability to bring in Brady. So it doesn't even have to be Tom Brady. It could be somebody else.
It could be anybody else. I'm just saying, if you take in the human factor of it, Tom Brady only wants to play for one reason, and that's to win Super Bowls.
Absolutely.
And I promise you, Tom Brady does not think he can win Super Bowls in the same division as Patrick Mahomes, being the quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. Think about it. Think about Brady's ego, dude. We've been talking about that for 16 years. It's not going to happen.
That's fair. Swaggo.
Yeah, I don't have a damn thing to say now. You guys argued for 15 minutes about it.
Hey.
Seven.
You know.
7.
Why's he got to
cuss us like that? We're family. We can argue.
We can argue with each other. You can't.
You guys are killing me.
Yeah. You're just mad because they're talking about bringing AB back. And you burned your jersey.
Nah, he ain't coming back. Anyway, nah, he ain't coming. You know, and you know what? I think we kind of need to move on from this Brady thing. Whether Brady comes or not.
Okay, let's. I really did. I didn't want to make this a Brady. Brady was because he was the last reported name.
Yes.
So that's what facilitated because they work hand in hand. These are two things. So you're paying top dollar for a veteran and you're trading Derek Carr. Okay, those two things have to work together. Okay, but the Carr portion of it has to be the precursor. So does that happen? Do the Raiders move on from Derek Carr? I guess that ultimately is the question.
The signs are pointing to it. You know,
right?
I mean, if we're hearing reports from legitimate sources that the Raiders are prepared to offer $60 million over 2 years to Tom Brady, I mean, they're obviously thinking that Carr's not the guy. You know, if they're prepared to offer that, whether Brady comes or not, I mean, that situation, Carr is not in silver and black. I mean, he's just not.
I think that I trust reading the tea leaves here, and there's also a fair point here too, Mosh. I believe it was Hardcore Raider. Brady might have enough ego to think he can compete with Pat Mahomes.
Please.
Just saying.
Okay, I don't see it. I
don't either. But when you are the GOAT and you got 6 rings on your fingers, you might think
you want more. And you want more? Well, why else at 42 years old? Why else play? Why else? The only thing you want because you don't want to make the playoffs at 42.
Let me say.
Let's talk about Favre. Let's go into Minnesota. Let's talk about Montana going to KC. I mean, there's a lot of these guys. Stay where you dance with the one who brung you.
Well, I agree, but so that said. Johnny Unitas was a Charger. Namath was a Ram. right? Like these guys, like they don't know necessarily that it's their time and they need to hang them up. And they do try to play those extra years or two.
You're right. Not everybody can be Sandy Koufax and walk out at the top of your game.
Peyton. You're freaking Tennessee Peyton.
Or Tennessee Peyton. But what they can do, what we're not getting here as a whole in this room is that it's not going to. Tom Brady. We're talking about Tom Brady. The man has played for one team, for one system. Bledsoe goes down. In comes Brady. I mean, that's it. You know, Brady's going to walk out. If he walks out, he's going to walk out a Patriot. And somebody's going to have to offer him a lot more than $60 million for 2 years and be a legit group that could challenge for a Super Bowl ring. It's just, sorry.
Yeah.
It's his ego, man.
Go ahead, Swag.
You know, we've been talking for weeks about it, and it's the new era of the NFL. It's the new era of the NFL. 42-year-old pocket passer Tom Brady. You know, it's got a shelf life, and it's about up. It's about up, you know. I mean,
that's what Q-Dog said about Giselle.
Oh.
You know, so
hey-o.
So, you know, so do the Raiders even want to go that route?
They're jacking the price up. You've been to auctions before.
Well, yeah.
Well, and I think
been to auctions.
Well, and they're not even necessarily jacking the price up of Brady as much as they're jacking the price up for Carr. And I think that, right, if they make it known that they're willing to bring in Tom Brady and ship Derek Carr, now all of a sudden you're going to generate offers, right? And I think there's a lot of this stuff that we talk about every year with that is strategic on the team's part. Like they set these conversations up to drive up value, to exactly what Mosh is talking about. And I think that it's highly possible that they're doing that to drive up the value of Derek. If somebody offers, I don't know, if it's true that Joe Burrow doesn't want to be a Bengal, okay? He pulls an Eli Manning, and he says, I'm not going to go to Cincinnati, okay? He refuses to go. And Cincinnati decides to make a trade for a quarterback. And they bring in Derek, and they decide that they'll give the Raiders a high second-round pick for Derek Carr, a higher position than what he was drafted as. You don't think the Raiders would consider that? Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you? Well, you know what I'm saying? We don't have a second-round pick. We got a rock star for a GM that's going to be doing the drafting here.
Yep.
Like, I just think that there's a lot of.
And that's a whole other show.
That is a whole other show.
That's a whole other show.
You're right. All right. Good stuff there, guys. Appreciate the spirit behind the debate there. And tell us what your thoughts are there in the chat.
Oh, they have been.
They have been. Okay, good.
Raider Homer says trade one of our first round picks and Derek Carr for the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, but you guys missed the whole. That's what I was cracking up at when you were on your rant. Q-Dog was going stuff like, anybody got Daryl LaMonica's phone number? Hey, Rico, I think Plunkett's down in the Virgin Islands. Can you reach him? You know, I mean, it was pretty funny.
Well, absolutely. And I'm certainly not an advocate for I think what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to wrap my brain around the concept. And again, remove Brady from the conversation. It's the idea that we're taking our franchise quarterback and we're potentially putting him on the market. That's the idea that. You know, and I used to have these conversations with Mikey on Mondays with Mikey and Murph, and I would rally against that notion. I'm like, the Raiders not going to shop him. Would they answer the phone if someone calls? Well, sure, because you're going to do that. But the Raiders before, it would cost them like $20 million in dead money to move him. Well, now it doesn't do that anymore. So now, like, I think the phone lines are open. I got to agree
with Fabricator Gil. He says, all I got to say is I trust in Mayock. Me and Gil, the old guys in here, you know, I do. I think there's Murph, Swaggy. I don't think anybody can disagree that these guys have had a plan in action for a long time since the third quarter check down into the dirt. I think they've had a plan. I think they've had a plan going on for a long time, and we're just going to have to wait and see what it is.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell us.
They're not going to tell us.
Why would you tell?
That's right. Good point, Mosh. Good point. All right, let's get into the puddle of fans.
Wait, where? Should we change that to sea of fan?
He is baiting, looking. He's under the gun. His side, he throws. It is.
You remember when you taught me how to do this sound effect?
Yeah, I do. I can't do it anymore.
You can't?
Uh-uh.
Well, let me get you on camera. Do that again. How come you can't do it anymore, Mom?
I got too much cheek. I got too much in 2 sets. Hello, fellas. Hope you're all well. I have a couple of questions for you this week. Firstly.
Oh, you're already into the puddle of fans.
Well, yeah.
Well, tell them. Well, whatever. tell
I thought you were giving me that look, that keep going look.
No, set us up. Tell them how they can contact the show.
Go ahead, Jeff. That's how I do it.
Well, yeah.
That's his job.
Yeah, you're the social media director.
I thought I did that about 30 minutes ago.
Well, do it again, man. We
Okay,
gotta
you can
reinforce
contact us. Call 909-345-3346. Email us at show@RaidersFanRadio.com.
There you go. Yeah.
Most times we start with a call from our capo.
Yes.
But he didn't call this week.
Nope.
And so he's in the chat, and he's got a hit list. He put himself on it for not calling.
Oh, that's
there
a
you
good
go.
guy right there.
All right, so in the puddle of fans, we're going to start off with an email with Mosh. Who do you got for tonight?
I thought you were giving me the look, the keep going look.
Oh, okay. No, well,
I
go
missed
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
Evening, fellas. Hope you're well. I have a couple of questions for you this week. Firstly, what do you believe is our priority this offseason?
Tom Brady.
With the dumbass. With the ongoing DC question, is it a QB?
You got mad at me, Mosh.
Wide receiver.
You got mad at me for bringing up Tom Brady. I haven't been scolded like that since I pooped on the floor when I was 8.
When you threw up on my girlfriend in your dad's Mustang. Jackwagon. I could have choked your little self. She still went to prom with me.
This is how this is how deep-seated Mosh's Raider fandom and hatred for Tom Brady is. I got scolded for bringing the crap up on the show. It's so funny. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. All
I
right.
don't even smoke. Wide receiver is a clear area of concern. So is quarterback. As in the defense. But which area do we need to address more? With Carl Joseph, Nick Nelson, Jonathan Abram, Markel Lee, and Arden Key all returning from injured reserve, and the possibility that Vontez Burfict could return, does that lessen any urgency on defense? Meaning we can focus more on wide receivers. Could we go big on a couple of wide receivers to add real strength to our offensive core? I've seen us linked with A.J. Green or Robbie Anderson, amongst others, and they certainly raise eyebrows. Why not go for both of them or 2 other big-name receivers to have another go at the offense we intended last season before the number 84 train derailed? Incidentally, how quick has last year gone? It only seems like 5 minutes ago we were delirious with 84 coming in and Hard Knocks on the horizon. Anyway, I digress. My second question for you is this.
All right.
I've watched a fair amount of college football over the years, and it's about time I pledged allegiance to one of them.
Oh.
Because I have no alma mater and therefore no specific allegiance to anyone, what criteria should I use to pick a specific college team to follow? As an adoptive son of Mississippi, should I now be looking at Mississippi State or Ole Miss? Should I follow your lead and follow the Blue Raiders?
Yes.
Or UNLV, now that we're Nevada-bound? No. I had thought about putting names in a hat and going with the first one picked, but I'm scared of getting a team in Kansas or Denver. Kansas, I love that.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm in your capable hands, fellas. And a couple things to finish with. Swago mentioned last week that Jonathan Abram should be a captain on the team. I wholeheartedly agree with my friend and think Max Crosby should be wearing a C as well.
Oh,
they may be young guys, but they've already shown their passion, desire, and will to win for the Raiders. They do and say all the right things, so why not reward them with the honor? Let me ask you a question. What year did Carr just finish?
6.
6, and he has a gold C, which means he started wearing it year 5, or year 1, or after he completed year 1. So Jonathan Abram and Max.
Oh, good call, Mosh.
Could both be in the same thought process.
Absolutely. Yep.
Finally, I saw a few folks reaching out to Will Compton to get him on the show.
Yes.
So hopefully it does the trick. Love you, Raider Nation. His Lordship, Paul Egerton, Shropshire, Mississippi, Pauly Award winner 2019, Sizzler scorekeeper, proud made man, 2-time winner of the Raiders Fan Radio Sizzler Award.
Paul! 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 Paul!
Paul.
Paul! Paul!
Paul.
Paul! 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 Paul!
Paul. Paul.
Claude! Claude! Claude!
Paul.
Paul! 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 Paul!
Paul. Your name, Paul?
Hello? Paul.
Hello?
Paul.
I met him with Paul. Who? Paul.
Paul, yes, Paul.
Paul's not here. Hey, Paul. Paul.
Hi. I'm Paul.
So it's a shorter show tonight. It's a puddle of fans tonight, and we thought about doing 30 minutes of Paul. Or because we got the time.
We should do a 30 for 30 Paul.
30 for 30 Paul.
Yeah.
30 for 30 Paul.
I like that.
Will you stifle yourself?
All right, so he asked about picking colleges. So here we go. So these are the MTSU Blue Raiders. So they are our alma mater. All three of us went to school there, and now with the synergy with our buddy Jeff Murphy, who played quarterback for the Blue Raiders, and there's a few Blue Raiders in the league. And Kevin Byard, as a for instance, we talked a little bit during the Super Bowl run-up about the 3 players that were playing in the Super Bowl that went to MTSU. The thing about MTSU is that we're loyal to them because they're our school, but they don't compete at the national level. Occasionally they'll be in like a cool game on ESPN or in a bowl game, or they'll play like an SEC opponent like this year we played against Michigan and played them well through the first.
I went to the Big House and saw that game.
Yeah, and we played really well for the first half and hung with Michigan. But in terms of like the national conversation, Paul, you're not going to see the Blue Raiders showing up in like the top 25 or even competing for a high-profile bowl game. So I would say that like I kind of root for 2 different teams. Like I love my alma mater, and so I root for them, but I also root for other teams that do compete on the national stage. Where we grew up in the Bay Area, and I'm curious to hear, Mosh, your opinion on this, like we had Stanford and Cal, but like it wasn't like it is here in the South. College football in California is not like it is here in the South. Here where we live, it's religion. Like it's bananas. Like people don't say the word Alabama in their house because that's a curse word. Like it's a whole different level of loyalty versus what we saw. So growing up, other than my dad having like Notre Dame games on TV every once in a while, I wasn't like a big college football fan. It wasn't until I moved to the South that I became a real big time football fan. So I support the Tennessee teams because that's where I live. So I root for the University of Tennessee. I root for even Vanderbilt. I root for those teams to do well, even Memphis. I want to see the Tennessee teams do well because that's where I happen to live. What about you, Mosh? What about you growing up?
I got into when I joined the military and I got out and I ended up in the Midwest. The college ball was big because I was in Iowa for a short period for one weekend for 5 years, and and you had the Hawkeyes and you had the Clones and the Cyclones and and the Hawkeyes were good then, and then just right across the border you had Nebraska, and that was in their heyday. It was in their heyday, man. And
Gene Stallings.
It was
Gene Stallings?
No,
that was the Alabama coach.
That was
I'm
Alabama.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, and so I really started to get my first taste of it, in the Midwest, and then coming down here, it really is religion. You go anywhere in Alabama and people greet you with Roll Tide.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of
Or
scary.
War Eagle.
Or War Eagle.
Yeah,
It depends
yes.
on where you're at.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you want to make sure you're in the right neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's cool. It's really there's nothing like 100,000 screaming folks, you know, doing like what they do. You know, it's nuts. It's just nuts.
It is nuts. And I know, Swag, you've been to the Big House. I went to Neyland Stadium and watched UT play.
Yeah.
And this was like the home opener against like Austin P or something. This was like a very easy win for them, not a big. And yeah, Mosh, there was like 106,000 people there.
Yes.
It was bananas. It was so fun. So who are your rooting interest aside from Middle?
And again, I'm with you a lot of that because I live here now. And I did growing up, you know, Stanford was fun because their band was crazy.
Oh,
you know, there was
yeah.
always fun, and they didn't wear the same uniforms, and it was in the post hippie days, and you know, so it kind of had that appeal, you know. But I like Tennessee, I like Vanderbilt, but I just like college ball. You know, I love college ball, man. There's just something about it because being a high school guy, you know, I think that's the purest form of our sport, you know, is high school football. But then you get all those. It's like every game's an all-star game because you take all those kids, and a lot of them are kids in men's bodies, you know, and that you get them out there, and it's balls to the walls all the time.
Yeah,
you know, and you just don't get to see, you know, a lot of really and they'll run up the score in a minute.
Oh
You'll
yeah,
have an 85-3 game in a minute.
Yeah,
you know, so
absolutely.
I don't know.
So Swaggo, let's hear from you on this. So you grew up a majority of your life here in the South, although you're from Southern California.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned earlier, being like a UT fan, and like there's players like Jawan Jennings who played here locally,
around the corner
from us, who like could be a late round consideration for the Raiders, even at wide receiver.
Absolutely.
So
I think he could come. I think he could go, you know, 4th or 5th round. You know, he's a deep wide receiver, but he's got passion for the game, man. Yeah, he's fun to watch. But yeah, you know, I'm with you guys. Obviously, you know, MTSU is my alma mater, and so I pull for the Blue Raiders, and you know, and I like Tennessee. I've been a Tennessee fan for, you know, as long as I can remember. Moved here 20 years ago. I actually moved here about 2 weeks before they became the national championship.
98.
In 98.
Mm-hmm.
In 98.
T.
But,
Martin, yeah.
Yes, and then when I got married in 2014, my wife and her side of the family are Michigan Wolverine fans. So I like Michigan too. But, you know, and really, I like watching Clemson because they're going to be future Raiders.
Absolutely. No kidding. And that's some of the best ball you will see.
Oh, yeah.
Clemson is just crazy.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, so Paul, I mean, I think you got to base it on, you know, who you want to root for in terms of the national conversation. Pretty much anybody in the SEC, I will tell you this, and this is what's so fun about the SEC, and I'm not trying to get in a whole debate because the Pac-12 people want to rep their thing in the Big 10 or 12, whatever the heck they are now. Everybody wants to rep their thing. And the ACC, aside from Clemson, really hasn't been strongly relevant. You know, we look at Miami and Florida State, like they've kind of fallen off. If you root for anybody in the SEC, so that's the Mississippi teams you mentioned, so Mississippi State, Ole Miss, that's the University of Tennessee. In the chat, they're talking about who we were talking about when we said UT. We're not talking about Texas. We're talking about the University of Tennessee.
But the Longhorns aren't a bad team to root for.
They're not a bad team.
They claim they're the original UT.
That's right. And but what I'm getting at is that like anybody in the SEC, aside from, and even Vanderbilt, frankly, if they were to go undefeated, they would be in the national championship conversation. So if you pick an SEC team to root for, so that's Georgia, like Florida, like Arkansas, like any of those teams, LSU, right? Look at this year, right? Then you look at the amount of teams in the SEC that have won national championships, mostly Florida, LSU, and Alabama here of recent history. They're all going to compete on the national stage. So those teams are really, really fun to root for.
And if you're talking about Mississippi, go Mississippi State. Root for our boy Jonathan Abram.
There you go. Boom. Good call.
Yep.
Good call, Swaggo. Good call. All right, so next up here in the Puddle of Fans, we got a voicemail this week.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Houston Raiders, Steve. Otherwise, it would have been a bunch of crickets up in here, right, Mosh?
Hey, Murph Mosh, Swag Jeff, Main Men, Main Women, Raider Fan Radio listeners, this is Houston Raider Steve. I'm just going to let you know that I'm upset about this, to put it mildly, about this Tom Brady.
Oh, you're not the only one, Steve.
Will you stifle yourself?
Is that for me or Steve?
Both of you.
Oh.
Will you stifle yourself? Just to put it mildly, about this Tom Brady $60 million 2-year contract. I looked up the stats. This is what the stats are from ESPN. Derek Carr, 28 years old. Last year he had 4,054 yards, 8, 21 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 62.2 QBR rating, quarterback rating, 10th. Tom Brady, 42 years old, 4,057 yards, 3 yards more, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 53.7 QBR rating, 17th rated. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I feel about this matter. They're trying to get some buzz for this new stadium and everything, trying to get everything excited, whether it's done with Mark Davis or with Gruden or both, or the people in Las Vegas trying to move stuff to try to get some excitement in this city because their hotel rates might be down and everything else. Getting Tom Brady would be like driving a car. We've all had these cars in our life. You got 3 bulb tires. You need a front end alignment. You got a cracked windshield. His best days are behind him. He's on the decline now, and I don't see any sense in having him come to the Raiders. If they sign him, I probably won't go to a game in Las Vegas. That's how upset I am about this. I'm a big Derek Carr fan. Has he made some mistakes? Yes, but he had a great year last year for the most part. And I just can't see myself as a Raider fan getting excited at all about this. And geez Louise, he hates the Raiders. He's never wanted to play for the Raiders. We hate him, or we don't like him, to put it mildly. Patriots I can't stand. I can't stand anything about Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick, the Cheatery Rats, as we call them, and the entire Patriots fan base. They're arrogant enough and condescending enough. There's no way.
That was it.
And that was it. No goodbye.
That was it. No goodbye, no nothing. Mosh, you love that call.
I love that call. I love that. I love that call so much.
Sizzler.
Oh,
Sizzler.
nice.
Sizzler.
First time ever, a 1 call, 1 sizzler. He said it. He said enough.
There you go. He hates Tom Brady.
Oh, me. I like his wife. I wonder if she could get Reese Witherspoon to call me.
Steve's are.
It's funny how it all comes back to Reese Witherspoon.
Oh my gosh, Reese Witherspoon. All right, so there we go. There's a Sea of Fans mailbag for tonight. Hey, you want to win a sizzler
We are
this year?
Metallica, and we are here for your
Oakland Raiders!
You know why we out here, and we ain't playing around today.
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
Aaron and Q-Dog Raiders in the
Q-Dog.
He says we want to recount, Mosh. That's pretty funny, man. Yeah, if you want to be, you want to get in the, you want to increase your odds of winning a sizzler around here?
Call in the offseason.
Call in the offseason, man. Absolutely. Well, hey, listen, I appreciate everybody in the chat room tonight. Swaggo, shout them out. Who we got in there?
Yeah, we got everyone in there. We got Matthew Menges, the Big Easy, Chucktown Raider, Tyrone Graves, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Sugar Shane, Raider Homer, Logan Moore,
What's up,
Big
Homer?
Easy, Sugar Shane. We got everyone here. Ron the Mater Raider. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Absolutely. Appreciate everybody joining us on tonight's episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Appreciate you joining in. Let's see. You got your.
Oh,
Give a shout out to who that is really quick. We got time.
What's
Go
up,
ahead.
David Northrup? Check out davidnorthrup.com. That's DAVIDNORTHRUP.com. And buy his new CD. It's called Shapes, and he is so gracious to let us use this as our new outro music, one of his tracks on there. And so we appreciate David. Hit him up and let him know that you heard his song here on Raiders Fan Radio. Thanks to everybody that joined us tonight for this episode of RFR. We will see you in a couple of weeks back here in Murph's Fan Cave.
Where? You went here. You went all Peter Brady.
I went all Peter Brady. I was trying to keep it down,
We hate
man.
saying Brady on the show, but we'll call you Peter Brady. Hey, thanks for tuning in to an episode of Raiders Fan Radio, episode 158. Be sure to subscribe to us on Murph's Fan Cave, wherever you find your podcast. Find us on Facebook.com/Murphs or Raiders Fan Radio Podcast, Twitter and Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio. Call us 909-345-3346. Email us show@RaidersFanRadio.com. Join us on YouTube for the live chat. That's where comedy is born. And Uncle Mosh, take us home, brother.
Well, we just want to thank everybody tonight for listening. I know you're out there, Reese. We want to thank Murph. We want to thank Swaggy J. We want to thank the chat room. You all have been listening to Raiders Fan Radio, where we take a lighter side journey into the dark side. And we never talk about Tom Brady. Don't forget, what happens in Vegas started in Oakland.
Good night.
Get on YouTube.
Good night, everybody.
From Peter
God
Brady's
bless.
fan cave.
Jeff.